Hi all. India ever in history for the first time released Index of Services Production. So in this week's current affairs on economy, we will be discussing Index of Services Production, the first thing. And second, we had a very heated debate on Twitter regarding the savings by our forefathers, parents, and how the current generation makes use of it. So in regard with that, we'll also have a discussion on the scarcity mindset that is being discussed, that concept is being discussed on Twitter. So this is weekly current affairs session by Amrita IAS Academy. Let's begin. So we have usually heard of Index of Industrial Production that India releases in regard with industrial sector. Okay, but never in the history have India attempted to roll out a service production index. Index is something that is very common in economics that we learn, especially for UPSC. Indices are very common, and we do have a lot of indices. What makes Index of Services Production special or very relevant for the UPSC is that it is the first time ever in history that Index of Services Production is being rolled out. And we'll see what Index of Services Production means by and what are the indicators that are used. Index of Services Production is to measure the total production that is done by the service sector. It measures the total production done by the services sector. Till now, we didn't had an index to measure just in entirety the production of the service sector, and service sector, as you all know, it is very important. So it is the total production by the services sector, and as you all know, services sector contributes around 60% of the GDP of India. So it is, we can call it as the single most driver of the Indian economy, yet we lagged a monthly data on the production of services sector. Okay, so in order to track the services sector, we had to roll out an index, and hence government came out with Index of Services Production. So as you all know, services sector contributes around 60% of the GDP. So we can call service sector as one of the single largest drivers of Indian economy. And when a sector is a single largest driver of the economy, it is very essential to have a monthly data on the production, how much the sector produces. We have to know for policy purposes, for tracking the data, for making the sector more efficient and all, we need to have proper data. And that is why Government of India have rolled out Index of Services Production. As you can see, this was the trial series of Index of Services Production that was rolled out in April. In April, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation rolled out a trial series of Index of Services Production, and recently in July, they have rolled out the Index of Services Production, and it is told that every 29th of every month there will be release of monthly data of Index of Services Production. So now we will see the key features of this index, and as I said earlier, it is a window into the service sector performance. It gives us an idea of how the service sector performs, and it is a macroeconomic indicator to assess the performance of service sector. It is a first high frequency indicator. That is the specialty, and that is what makes this Index of Services Production unique and very relevant for UPSC aspirants. And it also tracks short-term changes in volume of output. Okay, we need to see if the production is going up, coming down, or it is stagnant. For all these factors, for all these parameters to be measured, we needed an index, and that is why Government of India have rolled out an Index of Services Production recently. And we'll see the key parameters or what does make this index very unique and special. And there is a base year for any index, and for this index, the base year is 24-25. This is a very important data as far as UPSC aspirants are concerned, and index of services production use 4 different deflators in its calculation. And first one is wholesale price index. It is used for wholesale trade, as you all know. Second one is consumer price index, or its closest matching. As you all know, India is a very large economy, and assessing data with maximum accuracy is highly difficult, and hence CPI or its closest matching CPI is used, and CPI general and CPI services are the other 2 deflators. CPI generally is applied to repair, maintenance, banking, insurance. For all these sectors we use CPI general, and CPI services is used for those sectors which do not have a specific CPI. Okay, these are the 4 deflators. So what you have to remember from this portion is that base year is 24-25 and 4 deflators are used: WPI, CPI, CPI general and CPI services. And now there are in total 19 subsectors which are used in making up this index, and out of which these are some of the subsectors that are included. Wholesale and retail trade is used, transport is used, banking, insurance, telecommunication, hotel, restaurants, real estate, professional and scientific technical services, arts, entertainments and recreation, health, education services. And out of the total 19 subsectors that were included, 14 subsectors recorded double-digit growths. Okay, 14 subsectors recorded double-digit growth. Okay, it is a significant milestone as far as the Indian economy is concerned. So we are seeing improvements in service sector, and now we are also able to measure those improvements in service sector, and that is what makes this index very important. And these are some of the top 5 subsectors with strong monthly growth. Accommodation and food is 37.2%, retail trade, administrative and support services, real estate, telecommunication. And this is a statement that has been given in a box in PIB, and that is why I have highlighted this point in a single slide. And for the first time, GST data will be used in statistical application. So this is a unique speciality of this index. For the first time ever in history, services, an index on services production is rolled out, and for the first time ever in history, GST data is also used for statistical application. That is one another speciality of this index. And as I told earlier, service sector contributes around 60% of GDP of India, and it is a key driver of economic growth and employment generation, and it employs around 30% of the total people. And it we do have substantial service sector exports as well. And so India is not the first country to roll out an index of services production. France, Slovenia, Spain are also countries that continuously roll out index of services production, and EU and South Korea also have similar indices which are almost similar. They also account for the production in their service sectors. So we as a nation are also aiming to be a world leader in the service sector, and hence this index is very important for India. So index of service production excludes some sectors as well. Defense, public administration sectors are excluded as well. So that is all about index of services production. Now we'll move to a very interesting topic. This was a tweet by a financial advisor last week. So he told that Indian parents will sit on 5 crores of real estate and fixed deposit, yet still walk in 40-degree heat and fight a street vendor to save 50 rupees on tomatoes. They proudly call it the middle class values. So basically this person accuses Indian society of having real wealth but being so miserly and conjuice to save every extra penny that comes your way. So this brings us to a very interesting concept. So he told that it is a poverty mindset that are absolutely terrified to outgrow. So we'll see that what behavioral economists call these concepts as. This concept is known as scarcity mindset. Okay. So scarcity mindset is a perpetual anxiety about resources running out and an obsession with savings, storings, and heavy risk aversion, which is deeply entrenched. See, if we look at our parents, they try to save every penny that comes their way. Okay, they won't overspend. They'll save money on foods that can be served from homes. They won't let us eat from restaurants, hotels. Out of if it is out of necessity, obviously they will let us, but unnecessarily they won't encourage us to go out, spend so much, or go shopping randomly. These are common traits that we see among the middle class parents in India. So this this financial advisor, he's telling that this is not a saving habit. This is not a very highly unique saving habit, highly appreciated, but rather it is a scarcity mindset. You're sitting on wealth, yet you're not spending enough to make your life experiences better and gain experience long term in their life. So according to behavioral economists, even though the economy is booming and infrastructure is modernizing, psychology does not change as fast as the economy. And this is why scarcity mindset still exists among Indians. We as an economy, we have grown. Post-liberalization era, we have grown. We had around 10% growth just before 2007-8 financial crisis. We are one of the top five economies around the world. We are going at a pace where we'll soon reach 10 trillion economy. We are currently around 4.12 trillion economy. We are worth somewhere there. Yet, our mindset haven't changed. Okay, this comes from various reasons. Okay, cultural and historical factors leads to the persistence of this mindset. If you see among us, even when our parents have money, they have enough to spend, they won't be spending so much. One thing is the absence of social security nets. If we are to look at Western countries, they'll have unemployment allowances, pensions and all. But in India, if we are losing our jobs, we won't be having any unemployment allowances. So such lack of social security nets are one reason why parents are reluctant to spend, and that mindset is transferred to our generation as well. And so current generation of working professionals were raised by parents who lived through the pre-liberalization era. So they have bitter experiences in their life that have shaped their mindsets, shaped their psychology. So it is very difficult to suddenly shift from a certain framework of mindset to another just because your income sources or your living experiences have improved. So that is also another reason. And even if we look at our parents, they were raised by our grandparents who lived through the horrors of partition, who lived through the Bengal famines and the post-independence struggles that were there in India. So all these life experiences that our grandparents or parents had, that were of limited resources. So that was being transferred to us as well. Then there is a cultural manifestation of concept of paisa vasool. As that is a common usage in India, paisa vasool. For every penny that you are spending, you need to have the maximum utility. You need to derive the maximum utility out of that single penny. So rather than spending money on lifetime experiences, you make sure that you are not cheated anywhere. So all these cultural factors and economic factors like absence of social security net contribute to the scarcity mindset that still persists among Indians. So when it comes to millennials and Gen Z, the scarcity minds can be exhibited in a much stronger sense. This is what researchers who are learning about intergenerational shifts are telling. They tell that the scarcity mindset is due to some other reasons, not because of the bitter experiences in life or something similar to our parents and our forefathers experienced. Due to the widespread experience and exposure that they are getting from social media, youngsters are exposed to unprecedented display of wealth and lifestyle. So we are constantly bombarded with reels of influencers who are going for foreign trips and who are spending days in resorts, luxury villas. So we are also influenced, especially millennials and Gen Z kids, they are influenced by these kind of lifestyle and abundance of wealth, and they are in a mindset where they find it very difficult to accept that even when they have a comfortable level of income to live, they are not able to live a life as they see in social media. So the gap between what they have and what they see creates a psychological form of deprivation or scarcity. So hence this cannot be called as purely scarcity mindset, but this is a relative deprivation as far as millennials and Gen Zs are considered. So these are the two concepts that we have discussed this week regarding economics current affairs. So that is it. I hope this helps you in your preparation as well as in widening your perspectives. So this was current affairs weekly session by Amrita IAS Academy. We'll meet on the next week.
Amrita IAS Academy.